Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another seven-figure session. Today's going to be a lot of fun because I have an amazing friend and an amazing businesswoman on the show today, and I don't know where this conversation is going to go because Sara and I have a lot of fun, and we talk about a lot of different topics, so hang on to your hats. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tanya Dalton. I'm the CEO and founder of Inkwell Press Productivity Co., and I'm on a mission to get more women to grow thriving businesses so they can unplug from their businesses. I want more women in the seven-figure club really feeling good about how business is run and how their family life is run at the same time. So I have created the seven-figure sessions so you can get behind the scenes to hear how other high-achieving women who are running seven-figure empires are running their businesses. So for those of you who've been here for the past few days or last week, welcome. I drop into the chat some of the things that you have learned. I think you'll agree we're seeing some incredible, amazing threads continue to kind of repeat. Lots of talk about intuition, lots of talk about going with your gut, and I know we're going to be talking about that a lot here on the show today with Sara. So I have this as a Zoom meeting because I want you guys to take advantage of the chat, pop things in the chat with each other, really get the conversation going, and occasionally turn on your gallery view. Take a look around and see the women who are joining you here in these sessions because you are not alone. And that is really what we want you to see with these seven-figure sessions is that you don't have to do it alone. We are all here to help and support and encourage. And when women come together, we're able to do amazing, incredible things. So feel free to get the chat going. I love what I see. I see Sara saying hello and Mel saying hello and Shanna. Heather's asking who's been your favorite speaker so far. So good to see so many of you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get Sara on the screen because you guys are going to love Sara Yagoub. She is a businesswoman, a referral marketing expert, speaker, and founder of the Referral Circle. Now, she was a former overworked corporate yes girl who escaped the 9-to-5 grind and used what she learned to build her own successful multi-million-dollar business empire. She currently runs not one, not two, but 3 businesses, and she's launching a podcast. She is an incredible woman. Through her digital programs, her workshops, and speaking events, Sara trains high-achieving female entrepreneurs to make their very own million-dollar money moves. Her mission is to empower women business owners with the tools they need to shift their mindset, up-level their consciousness, tap into their intuition, I think you know what we're going to talk about today, and live with purpose. So let's bring Sara onto the show. Sara, it's so good to see you.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I know, we're going to have a lot of fun because Sara and we have a lot of fun together. And I have to say, Sara, we started the seven-figure sessions last week, and I'm doing a whole new setup with the video, and we're using a new program, and 10 minutes before we're going live, you know how it is, you're sweating, it's stressful, everything else, I get this on my phone, and I look, and I get this text from Sara who's like, you're going to be amazing, I can't wait, and I was like, this is why I love having people like you in my corner, because that's what we need. We need to support and encourage each other, so I am so grateful for you. I'm so excited to share you with everybody here. So let's go ahead, and why don't you go ahead and give everybody, read through your bio, but tell us a little bit about you and your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure, no problem. So for me, by the way, I love that message came right on time. I love that with women, once we open up that intuition, since we are going to talk about that, it's like you open yourself up to receive the right messages just at the right time. So I had no idea that your day was going the way it was. And so I'm happy to hear that it was perfect timing. So I love that.
It was perfectly aligned.
As always. So for me, my entrepreneurial journey is actually, it fell into my lap. I did not, or at least I say that because I never thought that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I'm a refugee to this country. So I came here as an immigrant with my parents. We had $2,000 in 2 suitcases. And we came here with the dream of me becoming a doctor. That's what my parents came here and wanted us to get a good education, become doctors. And, just have that stable income. So needless to say, when I told them that I wanted to go into owning my own business, they weren't very pleased with that. But what happened is I was going on that trajectory, but found out medicine wasn't for me. And so then I figure what's the next most stable type of income? And so I was like, let me get into corporate America. And so I'm here in Houston, Texas. So oil and gas is our huge industry here. And so I went into oil and gas, and I had that chip on my shoulder of like trying to impress my parents and, make up for the fact that I wasn't a doctor. And so I just climbed that corporate ladder. It was male dominated environment. It was hustle and grind mentality. You had to scrape and claw your way to the top. There wasn't enough room at the table for more than one woman. So I had to like elbow my sisters out of the way, so it was just it wasn't conducive to the life that I wanted to live. And then also it was completely out of alignment with who I am. I don't fight and compete with other people. Like I always love to lift people up. And then
you love to love people. You do.
I love to love
you
people.
You do.
Love, right? And so for me, like what was like the hard no, or when I realized like, okay, this has got to stop, was first of all, it's taking a toll on my health. Second of all, my daughter was very young. I just had a newborn baby. She was like 1 or 2 years old when this hit me, that I could not live this way because I was missing all her first. We had, help that helped take care of her. And I just felt like I wasn't there for my family. My husband and I were literally at the brink of a divorce. I mean, I had filed the paperwork. This is the same man I'm married to now, but like our marriage fell apart. And so I was like, wow, I'm literally sacrificing everything. And for what? If you can't be with your kids and you can't enjoy your life and your health is fading and you have your marriage going down the drain, like what is all this work for? And so right then and there, I made the decision that I was like, I'm opening myself up to see what else comes along. And so I had so many years of experience just running these businesses, like at an operations level. And my husband was an AC technician. He worked for a lot of AC companies, that's air conditioning and heating. And so I was like, listen, you don't
not
like
a lot of heating in Houston. Companies. A lot of air conditioning.
No, even though we are now, but yes, it's mostly all AC, air conditioning. So yeah, my husband, we just went into the business. I was like, let's start our own business. You don't like working for corporate. I don't like working for corporate. So let's bring our knowledge together and start our AC business. And so that is my entrepreneurial journey. It started with just us going into this, not having a real plan, but just wanting a better life for ourselves. And so that has flourished into the AC business, which hit 7 figures within 8 months, really, but multi-million-dollar level in 18 months. And then from that, I was able to open up an investment business that I also still run. And then I do the online training and speaking and workshops with women. So to help other women do the same thing with their lives as well. So it's been a fun journey, and it's still like,
it's still a journey, right? We're not done.
I'm still in it. So
we're not done. Well, I think what's really interesting too is we see this common thread with a lot of these women that we've been talking to about this idea that entrepreneurship was not in their plans. And I had Allie on the show yesterday, Allie Brown, and she was saying the same thing. And I think this is really one of those things where it's like you have to be open to really accepting when these opportunities arise or when you're feeling those pulls or the calling. And I think so often we think we have to have it all figured out. Then we can jump into business ownership. And quite frankly, it's kind of like waiting till you can afford to have kids, which is like never, right? It's the same thing with business. You can be a learn as you go type of person. And I know you're that way. Obviously, you've done that. Tell us a little bit about how that works for you. Like, just making sure that you're not jumping in without, really taking a look, but really assessing the risk and then jumping into it.
Right. And I love that you made a differentiation, right? Like we should have some kind of vision in mind, right? Something that we're working towards, or like some type of plan. However, the exact strategy should be open to interpretation, right? You should be able to be flexible with it. I have not once met an entrepreneur that's successful that's like, this was my goal, this was my plan to get to my goal, and I followed it exactly. Like it was a straight shot.
Never
right?
got off track. It was just the most beautiful line.
No. This road is a winding road. You're gonna wind this way, you're gonna wind that way, but as long as you keep that vision for where you're going, right, you'll always get back to where you need to go. So I do love that you said that. And then I do think it's important for women to, especially, but do you have men on this call? I don't ever know that if it's men or women, but I always talk to women. So
it's all, I speak to women, you speak to women. Okay. We're speaking to the same woman here, except for John. John's pointing at himself because he's right there. He's like, and me, and John, but you know, John.
But I think it's important because we especially, but some men as well. So John, I know you're one of these men, but like, you have that gut instinct. And if you don't honor that, like it diminishes it. And that gut instinct is taking us on the right path for us. So sometimes what may sound good to everyone around you or what might look good on paper, if you stick to that and let other influences keep you away from what's really calling you in your gut, that can keep you away from your magic, right? So for me, like when I was in med school, because my parents wanted me to be a doctor, and I was like, I don't want to do this, right? And I quit. They were like, what are you doing? You got good grades. That is a good job. There is no reason why you shouldn't do this. But it was really leading me to corporate, which taught me the skills I need to in order to become an entrepreneur. So it's like sometimes in life, things don't make sense to others, but it makes sense to you. And even if it doesn't make sense to you, it's like a calling that you have, and honoring that calling helps you to really align with your intuition so that it becomes stronger, and then you develop a trust, right? And so when it speaks to you, you'll start to listen, right? And without questioning it, even if it doesn't make sense on paper.
It's so true. It's this confidence in yourself and this belief in yourself, because I think so often we let the louder inner critic take over instead of really quieting that voice down and really listening to the inner voice that's the quieter voice inside of us. You can call it God, you can call it source, you can call it divine. I think it's all the same thing. It's really this whisper that's inside of you that's telling you this is what you need to do, and it's pulling you. And I like what you said there about things that look good on paper and make sense don't always make sense. And I know that you've done that. Even this past year, you made some decisions that other people looked at and they're like, hold on, let me look at this paper. Yeah, hold on, this checks this checks this. And you're like, yeah, not doing it. I mean, that takes guts. That really does take leaning into your own intuition and belief in yourself. Can you walk us through what that looked like for you this past year, kind of walking away from some things that you had spent time and energy and money developing, and then kind of walked away like MacGyver with it exploding in the background, maybe? That might be over dramatized. I don't know, but
it was something like that. I'll tell you, for my team, it felt like something like that for sure. So for me, with the Referral Circle program that I have, and that I still have online, what my goal was with that was to help other women entrepreneurs to learn how to do referral marketing, because as you know, in the world we live in today, everyone thinks that the only way to market your business is digitally, right? And we were just talking about this on the call before this, but like, let's just say, social media goes down. How's your business looking if social media were to go down? Like, right? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have ways to drive customers to your business? Do you have ways? So my whole point of making the Referral Circle program was to help women entrepreneurs realize that there is more ways to make money and bring business in besides just on the digital space, right? And using referral marketing. So this is still a great mission, and it's still really important to me. And so I developed these online things for women to find it. But what I was realizing was women were getting the best transformation when we actually work together, right? Through like a 6-week program or a 9-week program. And so that's what I started last year, and I was getting really good success with it. It hit 6 figures really quickly and was on track for 7. And so my team was so excited about it. However, in light of everything that happened in 2020, I really took a break from a lot of my businesses. Thankfully, a couple of them are set up in a way that I can step away and they still operate for a while without me. And so I really went within and I did like some soul searching, some spiritual, like getting back into alignment. And I realized that my message is bigger than just teaching people how to do referral marketing, although that is important. It's more about the transformation of who you are becoming when you shed, the societal conditioning and the limiting beliefs, so that you can step into your power as a woman in business. And so my gear shifted. Now, that doesn't mean Referral Circle isn't important to me, because I still have it online. And I think every business owner, if they want the brass tacks strategy, that it's a great place to go. But obviously that business does take a big hit if I'm not teaching those courses like one-on-one. And so what happened is my team was like, this is crazy. That means that we're going to take a big loss in that business. And you do realize that, right? And I was like, listen, don't worry, I got you. Yes, we're going to take a loss in this business, but I guarantee you we will see a return elsewhere. And just like I said that, one of my other business, which a lot of my team members, they work for multiple businesses. So my other business that I had, the AC business, in 2020 actually did 4 times the revenue that it has ever, So we had our best year in 2020. We were able to give back to charity and give grocery giveaways. We increased that by 75%. 75%.
That's amazing. I don't think I knew that. That's incredible.
I just found out from my CPA. He was like, okay, hold on a second. We need to talk about this. I was like, listen, because that was my whole intention last year when all of this happened. My intention wasn't like, how can I make more money as a business owner? My intention was like, how do I support all of our customers during this crazy time?
Yes. I think
and that paid off. That paid off tenfold.
Well, and here's the truth. You talk about, you don't worry about closing it down because you're going to get taken care of. The universe, God, you will be taken care of. And especially if you are really doing things from a place of good, that what you cared about was, how do I take care of my customers? That's your first question, not how do I make more money? How do I support my customers and keep my business up and running, right? It's a twofold thing. And so by doing good, you're receiving good. And I don't think people really recognize or realize this really is a cycle that happens. We see it. I know you've seen it numerous times in your business. I see it numerous times in my business. Something doesn't go right. I know I'm going to get supported in some other place. But part of it is you have to have that, first of all, abundance mindset, but you also have to have that belief. And again, that ties into that tying into your gut and your intuition and knowing that you are going to be taken care of. And I think that a lot of that happens when you really align. And I know for you, 2020 was a big year of aligning your business with your morals and your ethical values. So would you tell people what that looked like for you? Because obviously it's like getting rid of some of the things that look good on paper, but what else does that look like?
Sure. And you hit on a good point also, that you were saying that, what were you saying? Well, I'll talk about what you got.
Well, I was saying lots of good things. So
yeah, you said so many. That's what you were saying. Good. Thank you for stepping in. You reminded me. What I was going to mention is just like what you said. Sometimes when we stick to like a strategy, kind of like what we're talking about before, where you're so focused on a strategy, you don't allow what's coming. So, like for example, the fact that one of my businesses, we decided to walk away from it. Had I only had that like tunnel vision of like, I need to make X amount of dollars with this stream of income, I wouldn't have opened myself up to like, what other ways will the universe provide for me or show me that like, okay, we can still bring in just as much income or even more in this case, right? But it can come from a different source, right? So that's, I think when we talk about mindset, what's so important is like, sometimes we have a goal and we have found a strategy and we want to stick so hard to that strategy that like, we don't even notice when something else comes our way that will still get us to that same goal, but
or maybe something better. Yeah.
Right. Or better. Exactly. But the other thing the question you asked was, how did I align my businesses to our morals and values? Well, a couple of things that we did was, first of all, last year, 2020, really helped us see what do we want our business to look like for, one, our employees, our team members, right? And then two, like what type of customers do we really want? I think before 2020, we were just like, we were just going along the business, and we didn't really look at our clientele and see if like, okay, some people we don't really want to do business with, like some of the customers we were getting were just like such a pain in our ass. Oh, I'm so sorry. I said a bad word.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
I should have known, Tanya. I should have known that you would be okay with it. Let's be real, right?
Let's be real. Yeah. Yesterday, somebody said the F word is the new shit. Because I said the F word, which I don't normally say, but I did yesterday. I mean, I say it all the time in my private life, but not on camera.
That makes me feel better. Okay. I always like, that's one of the things, anytime I'm speaking at an event, on the back of my head is like, don't say a bad word. Don't say a bad word. Don't say a bad word.
Try to be good.
But yeah, like I always tell my like the members of my team that answer phones and stuff like that, I'm always like, listen, not all money is good money. Okay. Some of those customers that call us and we bend over backwards to accommodate their every need, that are outlandish and crazy. And you're just like, I'm going to do right by the customer. And it's like, wait a minute, that customer needs to find another company, because they're going to be a pain in our butt the entire time. And that's not going to be worth our time and effort. Actually, we're going to be investing into this, because then my front line has to keep talking to them and calling them. My technicians are frustrated. On the back end, they might not pay on time, or they might request a refund. So it's like, it's like looking at your business and realizing like, hey, some of these clients aren't our clients, and that's okay. They will find another company. And so we really tweaked a lot of our messaging on our marketing material, on our website, a lot of that stuff, just to make sure that we are targeting the ideal client versus just bringing everyone along and then realizing half of these people need to go.
I love that saying, not all money is good money. And I think this truly, when you are a business owner and you have that light bulb moment of recognizing this, that not every customer is your customer, it's like, wow.
Exactly.
Because you go for so long scrabbling for every customer, and you take the ones who are just not the right fit, who don't really align with your values, who don't really align with who you want to work with, who are truly, as you said, Sara, a pain in the ass. Very well said. But, and this is the thing is we bend over backwards, we contort ourselves to fit them, when really we want to keep our model anchored. We want to keep anchored with what is important to us and true to us, and that will magnetize. That will attract the right people to you, and it will repel the ones you don't want. It really will. And I think people get really worried with that idea of repelling, because they're like, oh, I don't want to repel people. I don't want to be rude. When there's a very happy place for them. So just not with you. And that's
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly. And it becomes, once you realize the kind of customers that you want, and you, like I said, at first, yes, you're going to turn away the ones you don't want, but when you really hone in on the right messaging, you won't even attract them anymore. And I will tell you that it's not just about like the customers, it's also my team members. My team members are so much happier. They're like, oh, thank goodness we got rid of so-and-so, or thank goodness, because it's like, it was a lot on them. Like, you have a happier team. And then some of the things that we were doing to accommodate, like staying open for a certain amount of hours, like on the weekends or whatever, where we don't really want to work. And I don't want my employees to work, on Sundays, for example. We were able to establish like really good boundaries. And with those good clients that like we really wanted to attract, there's no complaints. They're happy to accommodate. And by the way, when they're like that and our team is happy, everyone has more energy, right? So my team can provide better service, more quality service, a lot of bonus and perks that maybe they weren't able to do before when they were spending all their time with those clients that were giving us a hard time. You know what I mean?
Yes. And they're able to really serve the clients you want better. And I think that's what we have to remember. We're better able to solve the problems that the people that we want to work with have. And we're better able to be that solution for them. If we are spreading ourselves thin, trying to be everything to everyone, we're wearing ourselves out. And we're wearing ourselves out for people that we don't even want to work with. You got to let that go. Sara, you and I have been waking up to this question of, what are you really willing to tolerate in your own life? And I think that's one of the things we have to recognize. If you are trying to be everything to everyone, you're tolerating a lot. A lot of negativity, a lot of things that aren't really aligned with you. I know, Sara, that you and I, we have lots of conversations about that there's an awakening happening. You and I agree with this, that there is this new energy that has come in over the past, really the 12 months with, what all happened last year and moving into this year. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you and I we can chat on this for hours, I know.
True. How long do we have?
I know, right?
The good stuff. So yeah, I think, the spiritual world seems to be calling it the divine feminine energy. I feel that intuitively, but yeah, it's just this new energy of, we can still have what we want. We can still want these businesses. We can still have these goals and want to serve people. However, we can do it in a way that is more fun, right? More flexible, brings about more joy, still allows us to enjoy our time with our friends and our family, right? We don't have to put our self-care, for example, on the back burner. So it's like this beautiful new energy of building a business, and that's integrated with your life, by the way, because in the past, we've always talked about this home-life balance, and any entrepreneur knows there's no such thing, right? There are times where you have to lean in a little bit to your business because you got something major coming out, and then sometimes you got to lean into your family when, so it's like, it's an integrated life, and it's a more holistic approach to business. And that's not so stringent, limiting. It's about abundance. It's about creation. It's about joy, fun, play, collaboration versus competition. So there's just so many themes in this beautiful divine way of doing business, right? And so for so long, we have done business the only way we knew how, and the way that we see big businesses do it. And it's with this strong, not in a good way, like, because there's a sacred masculine energy, right? That is a good masculine energy. And then there's this corrupt masculine energy, the patriarchal systems and the way that we've been shown how to do business, that is the wrong way to do it, where we're fighting each other. Like when I talk about corporate, and I know some corporate businesses, I should say this because it's the right thing to say, but some corporate businesses have seen that that's not the way to do business, and they are trying to change, right? But where I came from in oil and gas, and this is about 10 years ago, is that they taught us all the wrong ways to do business. We fight each other. We're competing against each other. You can't go home in the middle of the day to go hang out with your family or go see your daughter's recital, like so many things. So just like what I was mentioning earlier of why the reasons that I left corporate, those are the same things that are still happening in business now. Some of us as entrepreneurs have fixed some of it, right? But we're still obeying the laws of that corrupt patriarchal, system and way of doing things. And I just talked to a woman entrepreneur recently who was like, I hate working on Mondays. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you take Mondays off?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Why?
Why not take Mondays off? Work Sundays.
You make your own rules, lady. Yeah.
I think we forget, right, ladies? Like, I think we forget, like, oh, hold on a second. This is my business, and I can create it however I want to create it, right?
Yep. I can work with the customers I want to work with. I can create my business model the way I want to create my business model. I can work the hours I want to work. I think so often we willingly and sometimes just, unknowingly hand over that power. We start to tolerate. We tolerate, I hate Mondays, but I have to work Mondays because that's what everybody else does. Well, don't work Mondays. I don't work Fridays. I mean, and my team and I don't work Fridays because I don't want to work Fridays. So why not make it work for you? Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Mondays are my creation days. I first of all, I start when I want to start most days, and that's usually around 10. But I don't do meetings on Mondays usually. And then Fridays are the same. Fridays are my creation days, and if I want to work, I will. But if I don't want to work, then I won't work. And it's like, this is entrepreneurial luxuries, okay? This is the system we are creating. This is the new energy that's coming in. It's like, we don't have to do things the way that they've been doing them for years. That way didn't work. People are burnt out. People are unhealthy. People have adrenal fatigue. People are losing their hair. Women, we're getting acne. We're being told it's hormonal. No, sister. You're not sleeping and you're not resting and you're not taking care of yourself because you're doing business the way that they taught you to do business, which is not the right way to do business because it's not working, right? So let's recreate what works and what feels better, right?
Preach. I love it. I mean, this is the thing is earlier, gosh, when was this? I think it was a couple weeks ago. You and I were on a call and you said something about the attachment to everything has been severed. There's no expectations. So let's lean in on that. Why aren't we leaning in on that? I mean, it's just like what you talked about when we talked about balance, which is the way that I talk about balance, which is why Sara and I get along so great. We're so aligned. It's this idea of leaning into one compartment, then leaning into another compartment. We're not going to spread ourselves thin and do everything at the same time. Lean into the life you want. On the podcast this week, we talk about the lucrative life. That is, you're able to run a successful business and have a thriving home life at the same time. That's the lucrative life. You can make that happen. But you're the one who has to do it. You're the one who has to make your own rules, right? That's what you do, Sara. You make your own rules. And I love that about you.
We're the only ones that are limiting ourselves. I mean, when I had that breakthrough of the reason that I'm miserable is because of me, and I know that
so powerful.
Sounds hard because when I talk to women about this and I have to look at them and, I'm a no BS kind of girl. I'm sure y'all are used to it because you're part of Tanya's tribe, right? But we're kind of no BS, right? We're just listen, if you're not happy, you're the one that can do something about it. I can't come around here and spread my happiness onto you. It might work.
There's no happy sprinkles that just sorry.
No.
Sorry.
And so it's really about taking a deep dive into what am I miserable about, right? Do we even take the time? And that's another part of it. We've been in this hustle and grind mentality where it's let's go. And it's well, hold on a minute. When are you just sitting still for just a minute so you can just observe wait, I'm going, but what am I going towards? Am I happy in the speed that I'm going? Am I happy in the direction that I'm going? Or do I want to change this up a little bit? Am I going just to go because I've been taught that that's the only way to do it, right? Am I hustling because I've been taught that being a hustler is like the best thing in life, right? Or being on the grind. Now, don't get me wrong,
glorified.
Right? I'm not saying that there aren't times where you don't hustle or you don't grind. But if that's the foundation of how you live your life, you're gonna get burnt out. It's inevitable.
Oh my gosh,
it's not
exhausting. Yeah, hustle, grind, repeat.
People do it.
I know. I watch people on Instagram. I'm like, I'm worn out and I gotta take a nap. And this is something
you are exhausting me. Okay, I'm gonna take a nap for both of us.
Yeah, let me go ahead and just double my nap time for you. Yeah, and I think this is the thing is we see what everybody else is doing and we think we're supposed to catch up. And who says you're supposed to catch up with them? Let them catch up with you during your nap. Right?
Exactly.
You're really good about self-care, Sara, like really taking that space and time for yourself. Like you'll go do weekend retreats, you'll carve out space for yourself and really take care of yourself. And I feel like this is one of the things that people feel like I don't have time for, which you do have time because we all have the same amount of time, but we have this like false belief that we don't have time for that. But here you are running 3 companies, launching a podcast, you got kids and a husband. Yep. You work with. I mean, you got a team in the back house, I know, behind you, right?
Yep.
There's time for this. How do you actively and proactively make space for self-care and taking care of yourself?
Well, first of all, I do want to say that this wasn't like an epiphany, like, oh, let me start doing self-care today, right? It wasn't this beautiful, like, I did not feel the need to do it, right? I was slapped in the face by my health. And my health was like, okay, you're going to ignore us all these years. Here you go. Here's some high blood pressure for you. How do you like that? Right. And so my self-care journey really was just that I was going so hard and my body gave out on me. My body was like, listen, we were good to you and you treated us very poorly. And so now we're going to give it back to you. And so,
guess what? Hustle, grind, repeat doesn't work.
I'm your proof right here. I'm still actually recovering from adrenal fatigue from it, which a lot of people think adrenal fatigue is wrong, and conventional medicine or whatever, however you want to call them, will tell you that that's BS or a part of getting older. But if you go to functional practitioners, and not that I'm giving anyone health advice here, but I will say from someone who's done it the hard way and the wrong way, if you go to someone who cares about what is causing the issue versus just treating the symptom, which your symptom,
medicine or functional medicine. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because I do believe many symptoms are a sign your body's giving you that, like, hey, we need this to look at right here. Right. And so for me, whenever I did that, I realized I had adrenal fatigue and I had just a lot of my body was shutting down on me basically. And so it really forced me to take a look at everything that I was doing in my life. And it was 100%. I was not eating terrible foods at the time. I still ate organic, clean food. It was 100% my work. I was hustling and grinding way too much. It was very stressful. I was not sleeping right. My sleep was terrible. I wasn't getting enough water, that's for sure. And so I was drinking tons of alcohol. And so that's what it boiled down to, was just like, listen, what's the point of all the work you're doing if you can't even enjoy it and you don't feel healthy, right?
Yes.
Right. So that really forced me to reevaluate everything I did in life. And the truth is, just like what you said, Tanya, as long as you're saying I don't have time for it, you will never have time for it.
Oh, and you'll never have time for it.
All the time for it is the day you will start to find the time for it. It's all a mindset.
I can tell you right now, I've been on calls all day with my editor and my publishing team and doing interviews. We had a call with our networking group earlier today, and I have a massage scheduled for 7:00 tonight. Yay! I have time for that. We have time for these things, right? And this is the thing is, I could easily look at my calendar and go, oh man, I don't have time for that. You know what I have time for? A massage. Without question.
On that track, let me just say that sometimes, like, a massage is great and I love that. A bubble bath is great and I love that. These are all great self-care. But if you're the kind of person who's saying, I don't have time for self-care, let me give you a self-care you can start off with. Boundaries.
Oh, I like this. Mm-hmm.
Boundaries. Let's establish boundaries. Mm-hmm. Because if you do that, then you will have time for the more fun self-care, like massages and whatever else. I can't even, bubble baths, going for a walk in the middle of the day. If that's your ultimate self-care goal, but right now you're saying I don't have time, then let us establish some boundaries. Let us say I have these office hours and these are my office hours, period. I don't work outside of this time, or I don't work outside of that time, right? Sometimes self-care can look like hiring someone to help you, right? Okay, I don't have time, so perhaps I can hire someone, and don't tell me you don't have the budget for it, because we don't do excuses, and you can find some free interns from any nearby college, okay? Find a way, hire someone to do your paperwork. Now you got some free time. Let's go get a massage. Okay. It's just, that's all it takes, is that let's look at self-care as all encompassing. It's not just these beautiful bubble baths and journaling and gratitude. All of that's beautiful. But first, if you are in hustle and grind mentality, establish some self-care that will clear up your time so that you can have the more luxurious, fun self-care, right?
Yes. I mean, this is the thing. It's creating a structure for self-care, really. And this is the thing, is we were talking earlier about this idea that you can't have this tunnel vision for how things work, but you still need some structure. It's kind of like bones for your body. Your bones don't make you run or walk or skip or hop or jump, but they allow you to do those things so that you can choose to do those things. Having boundaries is like this beautiful structure of, I don't do this. I don't work Mondays, if that's what it is, or I don't work Fridays, or I don't work after 3:00. Here's the thing. The rules are up to you, what those boundaries are. Not your customers, not your clients, not the people down the street, or what anybody else thinks. It is absolutely within your control. And I think that's what we have to remember.
And to also add to that is that any story you tell yourself when you're establishing your boundary is the story that's going to come true. So when you say, I'm not going to work on Mondays anymore, but you're telling yourself a belief in your head or a story every day that, like, man, if I don't work on Mondays, then my revenue is going to drop. Like, I'm not going to make as much money. I'm not going to get as many clients, right? If that's what you're telling yourself, that will become true. So instead of those types of thoughts or those types of beliefs, we really need to start retraining our minds or reprogramming our minds. Because here's the thing, just like what we talked about, these systems that have been in place, like the patriarchal system and the way that they run corporate and all that, embedded into that is a scarcity lack mentality, right? Where if I give myself more of this, then I have to lose some of this, right? If I start to do more self-care, then that means I don't make as much money, right? If I spend more time with my family, that means my business isn't as successful. So you have to start remembering to replace any type of a lack mentality or scarcity mentality with a better belief and a better story. So if you say, I'm going to take off on Mondays, and your instant belief is like, that means I make less money, you should say, I'm going to take off on Mondays, and on the rest of the days, I'm going to bring in more clients, so I'm not even going to see a drop in revenue. In fact, I might increase my revenue. And you just start to replace any of those lack and those scarcity mentalities. These are programmed into your DNA, right?
Deeply. Yes. This is
so we got to reprogram.
You have to. And so the first step is truly recognizing that story you're telling yourself. When you're finding yourself, and here's the thing, I find that it manifests a lot of times like in my body. Like I get an upset stomach, or I get a headache, or I get tension in my neck, or I get something that I'm like, where is this from? And then I recognize, oh, this is because I feel irritated, I feel frustrated, I feel tired, I feel angry. I feel one of these feelings or some other feeling. And then you have to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And let's get to the heart of that story. What is the story you're telling yourself? And then decide that you're going to choose to change that story. Because you can decide it. Just like Sara just said, like if you don't work on Mondays, then you say, all right, Tuesday through Friday, I'm bringing in double the clients. This is what people don't understand. You put it out there and it really will come true as long as you put action behind it. You can't just put the words out there and go, I'm going to make more money and I'm going to go just take a nap. It doesn't work that way. You have to put
I'm going to chill on the couch with a champagne, watching some Netflix.
This is the thing. When people talk about manifesting and they're like, oh, it's so woo-woo, and it is woo-woo. If you think you're going to say, I'm going to make $1 million, but I'm going to do it just by sitting on the couch in my sweatpants, yeah, you're not going to make $1 million. But you decide that you're going to make $1 million and you put the action behind it with that intentionality and you set that intention for yourself. I'll be surprised if you don't make $2 million, quite frankly, because you will absolutely make it happen. You'll start bringing good things towards you. It really is an amazing, beautiful
And
thing.
when you incorporate that, so just with that manifestation mentality, when you incorporate that with also the self-care where you are giving yourself space, the white space to just slow down just a little bit, right? So that way you can receive like the signals that are given to you. And whether you want to believe that that's God or whether you want to believe, it's coming from all different angles, right? Sometimes it's a friend that'll send you a text message like Tanya, okay? When I sent the Tanya text message, it was like, somehow she was manifesting that like she would be receiving some type of peace and some calmness. And sure enough, she gets a text from me, and probably a lot of things. John's probably supporting her as well. So
he's pretty good.
I have a feeling.
He's over there going, what?
But let's give John credit. But that's the point, is like manifestation people, when you want to think that it's just you sit here and say something and then just expect whatever, right? The thing is you have no expectations, but when it really works for you is when you are just open to receive the messages that come, right? And that the message might be that you need to take some action. And by the way, sometimes that action feels very uncomfortable. So for me, when I manifested lots of money in my other business, that meant walking away from a very successful business. Now, logically, that doesn't make sense. And that is very scary and very uncomfortable. But when you start to really trust it, then you will see the magic that it can bring. But it does take some courage to trust it. So that's why I always like to say that, because when you see online and people who preach the manifestation route, it seems like it's all like airy fairy and like, I'm just going to chill and go, surfing on the beach, all day long, and millions are going to come my way. And it's like, show me one person that worked for it. Just one.
Yeah,
just
I'm
one.
not sure that's going to work. Unless you're a trust fund, baby, that's not going to work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Oh, I love it. Sara, this has been incredible. I love, we could chat forever. We really could, because I love your energy. You always put out such good energy, and the things you're talking about, these truth bombs, are so real. And I love how you take some of these concepts or ideas that we talk a lot about, these kind of, we could call them woo-woo if you wanted to, and you really bring them down to ground level where it's like, oh, okay, I get it, right? You and I have a lot of woo-woo conversations. So Sara, could you tell everybody where's the best place to really find you, to follow you, to learn more about you?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So where I'm hanging out right now, where I'm playing, is on Instagram. So it's at Entrepreneur Sara, and my name is Sara. That is probably your best bet right now. I am going through a website change, but you can go to sarabrown.club, get referrals if you're only interested in the referral stuff. But I'm telling you that referral marketing stuff is going to come in handy, especially now when you're hearing that, some of these websites are giving people a hard time. It's always smart to have a kind of a back way to like get in front of your customers and all that stuff. So that's really cool there. But Entrepreneur Sara on Instagram is where I hang out, and I would love for you to come and play with me over there. And thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching this, because I know right now there's just so much out there. And so the fact that you guys tuned in right now and joined us, or whoever's watching this on the replay, that you took the time to watch this, I just want to send you a lot of gratitude and appreciation.
The chat is lighting up. People are loving
you. And thank you, Tanya.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you for doing this, Tanya. I love your mission. That's why when you asked me this and you said it was 7-figure sessions, I'm so happy to see more women talking about this kind of stuff and not being afraid to say like, yeah, I make 7 figures and come join me. Let's do it. Right? Because
let's do it.
We, as women, when we start making money in our business, like real money, we take that and it grows, expands so much exponentially. Like we put it back into our community. We have people here that, we hire to bring them on as our team. We really provide value for clients and stuff like that. We give back on donations. Like Tanya and I are part of this group and of 7-figure women. And like all of them, when you hear of them, like they're giving so much. And so I want so many more women in this space so that we can continue to really make the world a better place. As cliche as that sounds, we're doing it, lady.
We are doing it. And this is the thing, is we absolutely can do it, but it means really coming together. And that's like you and I, we come together, we support each other, we encourage each other. And I personally am just so grateful for you, Sara. I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for your support. I'm grateful that you came and dropped so many truths on these women. So thank you so much, Sara, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
All right, guys, isn't she amazing? She really is. And this is the thing, is Sara is so genuine, and so her energy is, and her vibe is just so amazingly positive. So Entrepreneur Sara on Instagram is where you can really find her, and she posts great things. So we talked a little bit here today about this idea of community and coming together, and how do we scale? How do we grow? How do we get to that next level? Because this is the thing, like Sara said, is when we start to get to a level of business, we're able to make an impact and really give back. And that is part of the reason why I personally am on a mission to bring more women into the 7-figure club. So I would love for you to make sure that you join me for my masterclass, where we're going to be talking about mastering the CEO mindset, becoming the leader in your business so it can scale and grow while allowing you to fully unplug from your business from time to time, go on unplugged vacations, work 4 days a week like my team and I do, live the lucrative life that you truly do deserve. So I would love to see you there. It's happening next week, tanyadalton.com/masterclass. If you sign up to come, you'll be entered into a drawing to get a free one-on-one coaching session with me. If you share about the event, we have some share buttons and some graphics. You'll be entered 2 more times every single time you share. And here's the thing. I want us to pull women together. I want us to really become stronger together, to grow our businesses, to grow our lives together, to create that lucrative life that we're all looking for. So come and join me. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's a free event. You're going to get tips and strategies you can start implementing right away. Now, I will be back tomorrow with Amy Lacey for another 7-figure sessions. She's amazing. You guys are going to love her. So I hope to see you guys here tomorrow as well. Make sure to go sign up for the masterclass, but show up tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern. All right, everybody. Have a fabulous, fabulous day.